Hi guys, we haven't had a tag video on this channel in a minute, haven't we? I've been wanting to do more of them, but I just couldn't find any new ones that appealed to me. But then I recently found this one, the song tag, on Kathy's channel, The Grim Reader, and I decided to do it because it's such a great combination of literature, which is, after all, the subject that this channel is dedicated to, and also some new and different information about myself, which we haven't had a lot on this channel either, I feel. So here's a little get to know me tag 4 years late. So the song tag, I'm afraid I can't tell you who created it because Kathy didn't link him and I can't really make sense of the name. Gareth something or other, but that might not be the channel name. So if anybody knows, please tell me so I can link him in the description box. The tag has 8 questions, and at first it's just about music and your taste in music, and towards the end we get more into the territory of a combination of literature and music. So without further ado, here we go. The first question, or the first task rather, is to name a song that always makes you happy. And for me, that would in general be music that reminds me of my years 16 through 19, so my last 3 years of school, which were in general just a happy time, a party time, a BFF time, and the music that reminds me of these years and this party time are kind of, let's call them party anthems. So several ABBA songs, but particularly Dancing Queen and Time of My Life from the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, and 99 Luftballons, 99 Red Balloons by Nena, and also Irgendwie, Irgendwo, Irgendwann. But most of all, the song that is forever linked to that era of my life is Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. Oh my god, we shouted our hearts out to this song. It still makes my blood boil in a good way when I hear it, and it instantly takes me back to that time of my life. Happy days. Number 2 is name a song that's a great fit for when you're in a pensive mood. And I guess the best music for thinking and ruminating and contemplating stuff, life, I don't know, would be music without lyrics, without singing. So symphonic music, for instance, or soundtracks. Most of the songs that I listened to are the opposite of background music for pensive moods. But if I had to name something, it would be Rufus Wainwright's music, just in general. Some of his songs are really upbeat with catchy melodies, but he has a lot of really gentle and gently flowing stuff as well. Songs like The Art Teacher and 1111, Sans Souci, Early Morning Madness, to name just a few. Those would be great for some quiet thinking time. By the way, I'm going to list a few links to songs that might be lesser known in the description box for you to give a listen to and see if you like them. Number 3, name a song that changed your taste in music. So it wasn't until age 18, I think, that I got into metal and a bit of gothic. I hadn't really listened to metal music before that, except for a few songs that somehow made it into the normal charts. Apart from our party music, I was more into like general rock at the time. But that changed when I first listened to Nightwish. And that was Tarja era Nightwish, mind you. I was lucky enough to even see them live with Tarja once or even twice, I don't even remember. For the uninitiated, Nightwish are a Finnish metal band that plays melodic metal, symphonic metal even, and their first lead singer, Tarja Turunen, was or is a trained opera singer, and that is such a powerful combination. I immediately fell in love with them when I heard them. Plus, all the mythological and folklorish and gothic themes of their lyrics really appealed to me back then, still do, if I'm honest. It's hard to pinpoint the exact song that made me fall in love. It has to be either Know Why the Nightingale Sings, or Elven Path, or even Ocean Soul. I'll link all three of them below in the description box. Number 4 is name a recent song that you've just discovered and loved. The thing is, I'm somebody who easily gets obsessed with listening to certain albums and listens to them over and over again for weeks on end. But I'm also someone who doesn't actively go and seek out new music. I only ever discover new obsessions by accident. I haven't really discovered any new favorite songs in many years, but I have recently discovered a new favorite singer, a classical singer, to my own biggest surprise, and that is Jakub Józef Orliński from Poland. He is a countertenor and specializes in Baroque music. Now, Baroque music normally isn't my thing at all whatsoever, and even opera really isn't my thing, with a few exceptions. I love listening to the music, but the singing not so much, again with a few exceptions, and Jakub Józef Orliński would be one. He is just so good, mind-blowingly good. The way he sings, it's really like an angel or a songbird, cliched as it sounds. He is so good, and this level of artistry and mastery is just always a joy to listen to and cancels out everything else. I just link the video in which I saw and heard him first. It's a bit famous by now, I think. It's him singing Vedrò con mio diletto by Vivaldi, accompanied by the piano. So I guess that would be my answer for my new favorite song. 5. Name 3 bands or artists that you love. And, well, that would be Jakub Józef Orliński, obviously, Rufus Wainwright, Nightwish, but to name 3 that I haven't talked about yet. Number 1, Dropkick Murphys. I always have a hard time picking between Dropkick Murphys and Flogging Molly as my favorite Irish-American folk rock band. But at the end of the day, Dropkick Murphys are a bit louder, a bit more punk rockish, a bit more foul-mouthed, and, well, that just wins. Number 2 is basic, but Queen. Their bandwidth is just amazing, and their songs never get old, do they? And number 3 would be Joanna Newsom. She is a kind of progressive folk singer-songwriter, and she has a very quirky voice that takes some getting used to. I would say it took me some getting used to, but once you've gotten used to it, it's just amazing. And most importantly, she plays the harp, the great harp. And that takes us seamlessly to question number 6, which is, what instrument would you like to be able to play? And yeah, it's the harp. I've always wanted to play the harp, but got kind of bullied by my parents into learning to play the piano instead. I've never in my adult life had the money to spare for a great harp, but if I ever come into money, I might yet fulfill that childhood wish of mine. But realistically, for now, I'd just like to get better at playing the flamenco guitar. And now finally, with question number 7, we get into literature territory. The question is, name a fiction book with music at the center of the narrative. I've talked about this book before, even in a special dedicated recommendation video. It's a German book, German language book, called Schlafes Bruder, or Brother of Sleep in English, by Robert Schneider, and it has been translated into English. There is music everywhere in this book because the protagonist has the ability to hear the divine music or the music of the universe in everything. And in the end, he gets to channel this into playing the organ in a church in his tiny village in the Swiss Alps, where the universe has seen fit for him to be born as a kind of cruel joke. I keep recommending this book in the hope that I'll make people pick it up just in order to shut me up. And I keep finding copies of this book everywhere, and I keep sending them to friends in the hopes of spreading the word about this book a little bit wider. And finally, number 8, the question that we've all been waiting for is literature and music. List some of your favorite songs that refer to or quote books. And I have a whole album for you. So there is a German metal band called Blind Guardian, which is rather famous in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, one of the most famous German-speaking metal bands. And they made a whole album of songs based on and talking about Tolkien's stories from the First Age of Middle-earth, so the stories from the Silmarillion and the Lost Tales. It's a bit cheesy at times, but it's also just great music, great melodies, and it has the additional sentimental bonus that it is about Tolkien and Middle-earth. It is called Nightfall in Middle-earth. And I'd like to recommend Blind Guardian in general. They aren't that well known in the Anglosphere these days, I think, but they are just good, solid, classic metal music, and they've made a lot of metal covers of pop songs and rock songs too. My favorite album of theirs is, in a way that's characteristic of me, I think, is the album that is most despised by the fan base. It's called A Night at the Opera. I'm just accidentally contrarian in that way with music, oftentimes. I don't know, apparently everybody agrees that this album is crap. It's treated like one of these things that isn't even up for discussion, it's just a fact. But my own taste often runs contrary to these truth of the fans, just like my favorite Metallica album is Death Magnetic, and I don't care that much about Master of Puppets, to be honest. And my favorite Unforgiven is The Unforgiven 3, which is apparently unforgivable. Sue me, but I digress back to literature and music. I want to name one more song because I cannot possibly end this tag about literature and music without naming this song. The one, the only, the iconic, the loveliest of lovely songs about literature out there. The one that always makes the crowd go, oh, with the first few notes that are played. It is, of course, the one and only The Last Unicorn by America, the titled song of the movie adaptation of the book by Peter S. Beagle, which is very different from the book in tone and most of all in complexity, but it's a great movie nevertheless, one of the classic evergreen best movies of all time, I'd say. Although it does seem to have fallen through the cracks a bit lately. Do people even still know the song by heart? I wonder, people that are younger than me. Do tell me in the comments if you do, or if you think that people do. And if you're not familiar with it and you don't yet know it by heart, my homework for you is to go to the description box, click the link, and watch and learn. And that's it. Finally, we've had a tag video on this channel again. If you have a channel yourself, I would love if you picked up this tag and talked about your taste in music a bit, and about music and literature, and of course do link me to the video in the comments. And tell me some of your favorite music that you think I might like based on what I've told you about my taste in music, my very eclectic taste in music in this video. I'm going to go out now and make the most of the dry and partially sunny weather, and I'll see you very soon again with another video, guys. Bye!